or just Regill?
Knight Commander, I presume. Your glory precedes you. I am Regill Daeran, Paralictor of the Order of the God Claw, and temporary officer of the joint unit of Hell Knights and the Order of the Sunrise Sword. You and your people should take positions. The gargoyles are regrouping. We expect they will attempt to break through in 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, a very emotional fellow. Regill, my beloved. The moment you step across the threshold, you're targeted with pale yellow eyes. A gnome with considerably grey in his hair, dressed in black armor, lowers his head slightly.
Would you look at their get-up, head to toe in black? You can tell right away that lot means business. How can they move in all that armor, I wonder? Those spikes must catch on everything, eh? And answering the call of nature, that'd put the fear in you. One slip and you've killed it yourself.
He does not acknowledge Ulbrig's wit with so much as a glance. What do you mean, a joint unit?
Forcibly joined. The leader of the Order of the Sunrise Sword was unable to get to safety, which is not surprising, considering his, shall we say, excessive scrupulousness and sluggishness. Given the extreme situation, I took command of his people.
Oof. Regill speaks with military precision and economy.
Just great. Paladins and Hell Knights all in the one troop. It's like catching the plague and the pox at the same time.
It's supposed to be good when different people unite. We're here for a common cause. But it still gives me the creeps for some reason. Hell Knights shouldn't be allowed to get their claws into our paladins. It's wrong.
You haven't talked in quite some while, Finn. I saw you ordered your own wounded to be finished off.
Indeed. The gargoyles were clearly trying to capture as many prisoners as they could. I don't know the reason behind these abductions, but I'm not about to give the enemy what they want. That is why all my people were ordered not to be taken alive. And as for the wounded, we didn't have time to get them to safety anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's a pragmatic approach. Regill answers dry, almost disinterested.
Can you hear yourself? For the sake of principle, in order not to give the enemy what they want, you killed your own wounded. Helpless subordinates. Why does anyone still follow you?
Because we are Hell Knights. We know our duty.
Absolute law.
Only someone who's never been responsible for the lives of others could feel any outrage at this decision. The wounded couldn't be saved. What good would it do to anyone if the rest perished along with them?
Yeah, I mean very blunt, but you also said nice. Is that nice?
Paladins don't trade in lives. They strive to save everyone.
You're right, they don't. They give lives away for absolutely nothing.
Nice to you. You know, you won't get away with this.
We can discuss our differences as soon as the gargoyle problem has been resolved. Speaking of which, here they are.
Like introducing someone to a fancy occasion. I don't like... I don't like to be so much in front. Okay. Death from above.
Distract them from me.
Stabby step.
Into the fray!
Bonky bonk. Shooty shoot. I'm very mature.
Try this again.
Okay.
This. Make every strike count.
Okay, Sosiel, we will... what will we do? You don't really have many healing spells. Then Seelah's going to heal Logan.
The performance is lacking. You are lacking.
So many of them.
Is this a mock fight?
But at a point like that, I'm kinda happy I'm not playing turn-based, because I think it would take ages. Ooh. That's not a helmet. It's a headband of inspired wisdom. Mosh pit moment. Yeah, absolutely. Here. Now you're wise.
I will lend you my aid.
I mean, hey, theoretically we're also healing all of those guys. Alright, Regill. Regill gracefully stows his weapon and places his hands behind his back. You two, check the area. Mark any potential shelters that offer protection against aerial attacks. Quartermaster, inventory the remnants of the camp. I want to make sure that the Gargars only abducted people and weren't interested in anything else. Send messengers immediately to our scout squads and order them to return to camp. And I need a full list of casualties, the sooner the better. He turns to you, and not slightly. Commander, your arrival was well timed. Now we can finally talk. I am quite interested in the events that occurred at the Grey Garrison, and I suppose you have questions for me as well. What do you want to know about what happened at the Grey Garrison? Any shift in balance of power during this war has a direct impact on my mission. If a new player appears who is capable of fighting demons effectively, then I am ready to support the person with all the resources I've at my disposal. Yeah, army, that's the nice thing. Regill speaks pensively, as if talking to himself. But naturally, I cannot blindly trust a stranger, even one marked by the gods. The gods blessed me with an incredible gift, and Queen Gafrey put me at the helm of the crusade. But that's not enough for you, is it? The will of gods cannot and should not replace our sound judgment, and the whims of the Queen of Mendev are of no consequence at all. Regill stops for a moment, thinking. Is there anything you'd like to know before we move on to more serious issues? What exactly are the Hell Knights doing here, within the borders of the Worldwound? The same as you and your army, fighting a war against the demons. The Hell Knights have always been part of the Crusades from the very beginning. We don't answer to Queen Gafrey, and we act on our own authority. But we serve the common cause. Deskari spawn have no place in the world we want to build. Regill barks out their final words. Do I want to know what kind of world you want to build? What exactly does Paralictor mean? I am the commander of this unit, and in the Order's hierarchy I am 2 steps lower than its leader. In the territory of Mendev and the Worldwound, there are few who equal my rank, but I am the most senior Hell Knight officer for many leagues around. First the Queen, now there's Paralictor. There's a whole lot of foreign taskmasters in our lands these days. Wherever you go in Sarkorian, there's always someone dishing out orders. Judging by your tattoos, you're one of the few Sarkorians who survived. If these are your lands, what's stopping you from taking charge yourselves? Perhaps it's high time you woke up from your dreams of a beautiful green Sarkorian and admitted that these lands haven't been yours for 100 years now. We are not done talking about your atrocities. Of course. The Paralictor doesn't seem hurt or surprised. If you wish, I will explain my position in detail. All the soldiers killed at my order belong to my unit, and therefore the case is an internal matter for the Order of Godclaw. You could have sent an appeal to the Order commanders, but the result is inevitable. Not only do the Order's rule and field operation guidelines not prohibit it, they even recommend a policy of death as preferable to captivity. So everything that happened, though it is surely lamentable and has deprived me of a few good fighters, is also a prime example of military necessity. Well, of course. Atrocities don't matter if you have a piece of paper that say committing atrocities is allowed. Tell me about it. People can't move these days for little pieces of paper. Behind every scrap, there's somebody waiting to throw the whole book at you. You can't go in there, you can't be in here, you can't go into people's houses when they're out of town, you can't sell smokes on the street. Paper pushers. Paper pushers everywhere. You know, your rules are maybe the abomination. Of course, you have the right to personal opinions and relations. If the incident is settled, I suppose we can return to relevant matters. So, what exactly are you going to do now after the gargoyles attacked? I wait for my remaining fighters to return. What you see here is only a small part of my forces. As for my long-term plans, that depends on the result of our conversation, Commander. Regill narrows his eyes. Before we move on to serious subjects, I'd like to address an organizational issue regarding my unit. You may wish to be present. Jaeger steps forward and salutes with a clenched fist to his chest. Paralictor, permission to report. During the first gargoyle attack, I determined it's necessary to leave my post. I swam over the river, found the commander's army, and asked them to provide assistance. Regill nods. The reinforcement were much needed. You will earn a double salary for your resourcefulness, Jaeger, and 100 lashes for abandoning your post. The young knight grows a little pale, but immediately salutes again. Yes, Paralictor. You know, I really wonder if it's foolish and overly harsh to punish Jaeger for leaving his post when he did it to bring help. It would be foolish and harsh, but entirely lawful to execute him for desertion. Regill peers at Jaeger with his pale yellow eyes. Did you know the location of the commander's squad, knight? No, Paralictor. I assumed I meet friendly troops on the other side of the river, but I couldn't know for sure. You see, Commander. Of course, I could be gracious and look the other way, but that would mean that during the next battle, 10 or 20 of my people will think it's high time they ran in to get help. Initiative requires reasonable limits. Not to mention 100 lashes is hardly a punishment for a true Hell Knight. I'd say it's more of a spiritual warm-up. Ouch. Jaeger gives you a serious look. Thanks you for your concern, Commander, but I do not wish to await fair punishment. I wouldn't be a Hell Knight if I did. Are these guys made of stone or what? They seem creepy, but I kind of like them. I'll never understand this pointless cruelty, and I never want to. Regill, who has watched you closely throughout the entire conversation, nods himself. Now, for a more delicate issue. You, Commander, were interested in our dispute with the Knights of the Order of the Sunrise Sword, correct? Their forces in Kenabres suffered great losses in the demon attack, and now their leader has perished and his troops are in trouble. They are reeling with no command structure. Their order will hardly be able to recover from the losses they've suffered. What exactly are you getting at? These fighters aren't the finest material I've worked with, but if I assume formal command over them, I'll be able to reforge them into weapons of reasonable quality. One or two might even become true Hell Knights. The rest will be put to good use as well. Do I want to know what the good use is? He's lawful to a point. Yeah. I would still guess he's lawful evil, but I would think like he's mainly lawful. But like the laws he attaches to seem to be quite... Yeah, worse than neutral, I guess. But it makes a really interesting character. Not just being evil for evil's sake, but like... Yeah, it's kinda taking... means serve the end to an extreme, I guess. It's an intriguing character so far. And it's also interesting to have character when you play, for me at least, when you play a good character or a very chaotic character, to have someone you can fight with. Because that's, I don't know, I think it's interesting to have the debate. Well, the Order of the Godclaw have a strict pantheon. Yeah, okay. Are there less cruel, I think, Hell Knights? Or are they all kind of like that? You've already shown that you will easily sacrifice these people, use them as living shields for your precious knights. I won't let that happen. Let them join my army. At least I don't treat my soldiers as expendables. Well then, we both have arguments to make. Let's see what these orphans say. Regill looks at the warriors in white and yellow, shifting cheerlessly from one foot to the other. Initiates of the Sunrise Sword. Your leader is dead. The Order has suffered serious losses and will not be able to recover. You may return to Mennev to join another Crusader Order and hope that they don't meet the same fate as the Sunrise Sword. Or you may remain under my command. I will not promise that it will be easy or that our war making will be constricted by your principles. What I can promise is this. Under my command, you will never again feel like helpless mice in the talons of a ravenous raptor. Does that mean we've worked off the precious resources you spend on us? The water, medicine and bandages? Yeah, it's one of the knights in white and yellow. I wouldn't make such an offer if I thought you were used as garbage. The initiates of the Sunrise Sword consult with each other for a time, and then one of them, a young woman in knight's armor, steps forward. Your methods of warfare and your treatment of your allies goes entirely against our ideals, Paralictor. Commander Logan Aldori already said to you everything that should be said. We've decided to follow the commander in his march on Dresden. Yeah, Sarenrae sounds kinda very different. Depends on the chapter. Ah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm still at the very beginning, am I not? As you wish. It's difficult to tell from Regill's face whether he's disappointed or not. Well then, Commander, let's proceed to the main question and then put an end to this exhausting conversation. We should discuss the cooperation between your forces and my own. We do share a common enemy and a common battlefield. Ooh, perception check passed. You're looking at me strangely, Paralictor. When we discussed Jaeger's punishment and we were deciding the fate of the Sunrise Sword, it's as if you're testing me. Regill lowers his head in a gesture that might be read as respectful. I do not believe I made any attempt to conceal my interest in you, both as a new strong leader in the region and as the bearer of a highly unusual power. Of course, I'd like to know what's inside your head. One could say that it's my duty. Yeah, still, united we stand and united we're strong. So, even if we disagree on our methods, my army and I are going to Dresden, free the city from demons. You can join forces with us. Regill rubs his chin pensively. Dresden, an ambitious goal, but most reasonable. Imagine how such a victory would rally all the separate bands of today's Crusaders under one banner. And we certainly need a base of operations inside the Worldwound. I stand ready to support you. Moreover, I can accompany you in your campaign. However, I would remind you that Hell Knights are outside of Mennev's jurisdiction. My unit and I will join your forces and obey your orders, but only for as long as I deem that our goals coincide. Hell no, we don't need the likes of the black armor statues. I don't want to fight side by side with someone who will slit my throat if I'm weak and wounded. You can't defeat one evil by inviting an equal, but slightly more organized evil into your ranks. Ah, Hell Knights, devils, evil but lawful. Ah, slightly more organized than the demons. I could consider this an insult. I've never dealt with Hell Knights before, but from what we've seen, they're serious fighters. That's just what we need. And just think how that armor will look in the paintings they make about our battles. It's a deal. Yes, Commander. My forces and Regill Daeran are at your disposal. Yay, another companion. But yeah, as usual, you can't look at class or anything, so for the time being, we go with our current composition.
Begone, fiend!
Let's see if we can explore something more here.
This is my kind of work.
Oh gosh, did we just jump there? Insane. We're still alive. Praise be Sarenrae. We got a ring of protection. Alright, let's go back.
The light, take you!
Loot, 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 loot.